for joining us. Just time for a quick recap of the week, and we begin in Russia, the real Borscht Belt. We begin with Egypt, or as ISIS calls it, next. We begin tonight in Turkey, the country named after the fourth best sandwich and the third best burger. And we begin with Syria. Until 2011, a pretty nice name for a baby girl. And we begin in North Korea, named Best Korea for 70 years running by North Korea magazine. And we start with Russia, Earth's Death Star. Begin in Afghanistan. It's just the tip of international conflicts. We jumped in too fast, went in further than we originally intended, and now we're pulling out way more slowly than we said we would. Turkey, the country that's always much bigger than you think it is. Much like Tim Robbins. Did you know he's 6'5"? He's very big. Our main story this week is Scotland. Americans know it as the birthplace of Shrek and that accent you think you can do but actually can't. Let's move on to the UK, the country that gave the world the Beatles and then punished it with Coldplay. Let's move on to the UK, where 2,000 years of civilization led to this face. Last week, we discussed the fact it's hurtful when you clap that. The UK, the only two letters that promise more iciness and bad food than these two. Now, we turn to the United Kingdom, where I am fondly known as who? The UK's... That's so much truer than you have any idea. A quick update on Ukraine, or as Vladimir Putin might call it, Phase 1. And finally this week, Turkey. A country, a bird, and the meanest thing you could call someone in 1956. Panama. A country you think about so little, you don't realise that's not Panama, that's the outline of a Scotty dog. This is Panama. This week, we turn to Brazil, where even the Amazon rainforest looks like it's gotten a wax. Now, New Zealand, the country that, like a bad edible arrangement, is full of fucking Kiwis. Now, recently, Hungary. Yes, Hungary. The fantasy home for every little girl who's young enough to love castles, but not quite old enough to be aware of neo-fascist political parties. Let's move on to Ireland. A country with a slightly higher Irish population than the Dropkick Murphys. China. Manufacturers of everything except that piece of crap clay jar you got for Mother's Day. You're never going to use it. Some good news out of Chechnya. A sentence uttered almost as infrequently as, man, I hope I get seated next to a baby. Let's move on from Ferguson to a slightly less contentious spot on the globe, Israel. And we begin in Israel. Drama-wise, the opposite of Canada. Now, we turn to Norway, the left testicle in the frigid sea penis of Scandinavia. Saudi Arabia, the Mecca of Meccas. This week,